Welcome back to CryptosRus. I am George. We're all George. So the big story of the day is Fed Chair Powell at Jackson Hole. Is he going to pump or dump Bitcoin and the entire market? Let's discuss. And let's discuss everything else that's going on in the world today. Welcome, 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 guys. The market bell is about to ring. I'm actually a little bit early today. But you can see the U.S. market is looking pretty darn good for the tech sector. NASDAQ is up 160 in the pre-market. And that's because NVIDIA after hours last night reported it was spectacular. Revenue, profit through the roof. Their forward guidance through the roof. I mean, everything is through the roof with NVIDIA right now. And they are just absolutely killing it because of the AI wave and because their GPUs are the most important chips when it comes to AI. It's no longer CPUs. It's all about high-end GPUs, and NVIDIA definitely leads that market. So they are absolutely killing it. And so they're leading, they're leading a tech rally today. So far, we'll see how far it goes. I did also see this, nothing to do with crypto, but a lot of you guys probably eat at Subway. Subway is being bought out for like $10 billion to Roar Capital, and Roar Capital owns like all these big restaurant chains, including Dunkin' Donuts and Jimmy John's and Arby's, and they have a huge stake in Cheesecake Factory. They're buying Subway. That's kind of crazy. I don't know. Again, it has nothing to do with anything, but I thought that was interesting. Pretty interesting. But ahead of this Jackson Hole press conference, right? I don't even know. I thought this month we were going to get a break from all the, Powell speeches. FOMC meetings, sometimes they skip a month, right? And yeah, we don't have one this month. We have one end of next month, right? So I thought August we get a little break, okay, from Fed Chair Powell. Well, that's not the case because he's going to be in Jackson Hole doing whatever, and then he's going to also be giving a speech. Now, the 10-year Treasury yield is inching up, so this is actually a good thing. When 10-year Treasury goes upwards, that means demand is actually coming down. So people from Wall Street are thinking that he's going to be saying good things. He's not going to be crashing the market. He's going to be more dovish than anything. Okay? At least that's how this is moving right now. It's kind of like a mini prediction. But the thing is, I don't know if you guys recall, last year in August, right, when inflation was still high, and he was still battling it last year after he gave his speech at Jackson Hole, which was extremely hawkish. Bitcoin crashed like 30% afterwards. So, will history repeat? I don't think so. From our level now and how the economy is now and how inflation is now is very different than August of 2022. Okay, so just to throw that out there, but people are trying to speculate on what he may be saying, and if you're wondering what time he's going to be talking, in fact, I don't know. I don't know the specific time, but usually when he does a speech like this, it's sometime early afternoon. So it could be something, around 1 or 2 o'clock. Okay, I didn't find anything about specific time, but if we all of a sudden see Bitcoin go up or down, right? It's probably when he's speaking. So that's the big event for today. And by the way, wait, no, this is, I'm sorry, I got my days confused. This is tomorrow. This is not today, right? He's speaking on Friday. Maybe I'm getting all confused. Yeah, that's actually, he's actually speaking tomorrow, not today. Okay, I got my story straight. I apologize for that. So that's coming up, but still, something that a lot of people are worrying about, right? Now, something else to worry about is this. This is actually more scary than Fed Chair Powell. This is actually a lot more scary. So there's a lot of talk about BRICS, BRIC nations, getting off the USD standard, and they're having a summit right now. But now you have more and more countries joining BRICS, okay? And this can't be good. So China and Russia obviously leads BRICS, but then you also have Brazil, which is a huge economy, right? And then you have South Africa, but now you have Iran, Saudi Arabia, Egypt. That's among 6 nations that are set to join. And you have the EAU, you have Egypt, Ethiopia, Argentina. So yeah, they're all joining. And you know, why this is not good is because, like I said, they're trying to get off the USD standard. And you know, we know that the USD is the reserve currency of the world, right? The US is lucky because even though the U.S. printed so much money and there's still elevated levels of inflation, right, and everything else that's going on, other countries have it worse. So that's why other countries, when they have it worse, they buy USD and they buy our bonds, and that's how we're able to sustain our never-ending debt because we get to keep on borrowing money and printing money, right? But if other nations stop wanting the dollar, they stop buying our bonds, well, that's going to lead to catastrophic things. That means we can no longer borrow as a nation. We just have to keep printing and printing and printing, which will lead to, of course, elevated levels of inflation, even more so. Yeah, so, I mean, this is what it's coming down to, right? And honestly, you can't trust fiat. You can't trust central banks from any government, right? So what does that mean? You got to put your money somewhere else, right? You got to put your money into Bitcoin. That's what it comes down to, because eventually all fiats collapse. They always do. And it's due to greediness. It's due to overprinting, due to the people in charge not knowing how to control themselves, right? And then eventually it leads to downfall. So the U.S. dollar collapse, probably not going to come today, probably not tomorrow, but it will come someday. And you don't want to be the last one holding the bag when it does, right? So you want to make sure you're preparing yourself for life-changing wealth or financial freedom by holding on to the best asset that exists today, and that's Bitcoin. That's Bitcoin, right? And that is why so many people have been accumulating. In fact, whales and sharks have accumulated 300 million since the mid-August crash. That was only a week ago, okay? I mean, think about this. 300 million accumulated within a matter of basically a week. This is by the whales and sharks. This does not even include, remember recently I just talked about some mysterious whale buying $3 billion worth of Bitcoin. This doesn't even include them. That $3 billion could be BlackRock, right? That's a true whale. But these whales and sharks also have accumulated a lot. I mean, this is all going behind the scenes. Again, if you're wondering why this is not pumping up Bitcoin's price, all behind the scenes OTC market will not be recorded on order books. No one really sees these. You'll never see this happen over Coinbase or anything. You just see massive outflows from these exchanges because they're selling it to them, but that's it. They're not done on order book. If they were, prices would be much higher, right? But that's what it's all about. And everyone's preparing. Retail, whales, institutions, all preparing for the halving event. Pantera Capital thinks that Bitcoin, after this next parabolic rise up, is going to be at $150,000, right? That's very, very conservative, actually. Very conservative. In case you're not familiar with the halving event, I think almost everyone watching is. But the reason why Bitcoin is considered the best asset that we have is because there's a finite supply, first of all, and the inflation rate of Bitcoin gets cut in half every 4 years. So less and less and less and less of it gets released every 4 years until there is no more that is released, right? So in 2012, you had 25 being released per block. Then it went down to 12.5, and then 6.25, which is currently where we are now. And then after 2024, right, next year, 3.125. And then it starts going lower and lower. I mean, it's going to get into the point where miners pretty soon will only find less than 1 Bitcoin per block. You know, it is going to be a race, right? All-out, no, not race, all-out war between the miners to get the very last few. We already mined over 93%. Everyone's fighting for the last few, right? And none of those miners are going to be selling any of it. So everyone that's buying and selling and trading right now is all the existing Bitcoins out there. The new ones are all spoken for, and we'll never see those. It's all the ones that's been circulating, but the ones circulating, there's not that many either. Reserves keeps going down on all the exchanges. The long-term holders hold over 75% of the supply. And then that's not to mention that we have millions of Bitcoins lost in the early days. Hard drive crashes, you know, lost keys, whatever. So if you think about it, there's really very, very, very little out there, right? So that's why I said this prediction of 150,000 from Pantera is actually quite low. Quite low. But you know what? If we get it, that's fine. Nothing to complain about. It's about roughly double of our previous high back in 2021, right? So they're predicting that this time around we're going to get a 2.3x off from the bottom, and then we get a 4.2x from that point to 150,000, right? And you can see the diminishing returns, obviously, right, from the previous cycles. I don't know. Maybe we go higher than 4.2x. Maybe this time around we get like a 5x or 6x instead. Or maybe we tie the last one at 7.8x. Who's to say we can't do that? And that will push Bitcoin well above $200,000, maybe around $250,000, right? This time around, even though there's diminishing returns, keep in mind, here's the catalyst, or here's the asterisk that makes it different. We never, ever, ever in previous cycles had, first of all, spot Bitcoin ETFs in America, and we never had big, gigantic powerhouses like BlackRock getting involved and causing everyone else to get FOMO too. So that's the thing. All the previous rallies were driven by retail investors and whales, but not the huge, gigantic institutions that are all looking to come in. So this time around, even though everyone's predicting, yes, we'll go higher, but because of diminishing returns, because everything is a higher value right now, right, that, you know, we can't possibly go at the same rate as before, but people are not calculating the trillions that could be flowing in from these big institutions. BlackRock alone holds over $9 trillion of assets. Fidelity over $4 trillion worth of assets, right? What about Vanguard and all these others that want to jump in too? They hold trillions of assets. So what my point is, 150,000 is actually pretty conservative. All right. This also shows the number of holders. Okay, all the pretty graphs, you know, different colors, right? Basically showing all these holders that are holding keeps on going higher and higher and higher, despite the fact that the price went down. You know, after we came down from 69,000, the number of holders actually went up. No one really sold. Maybe the newbies, the short-term investors that really don't understand sold, but everyone else actually just kept holding. And we're at an all-time high right now for number of holders. So bottom line is, yeah, you just want to keep on holding. That's the key. That's the key when it comes to Bitcoin, and the key when it comes to any kind of investing. Just investing. You just want to hold. Okay. And, you know, for short term, if you want to know what's going on, well, what we're going through right now is very, very, very similar to the previous times when we broke above and then we kind of backtracked a little bit, right? And then we went above. We had to retest like this resistance / support. That's exactly what we did. And again, just like the previous times, this is like right before, shortly before a halving event. And then afterwards, we go up and up and up to the moon, right? This is exactly the same time frame. So definitely exciting. Definitely excited to be in this space, even though every day seems like it's boring, right? But when it starts moving, you're going to forget all this. I don't remember the boring days of 2020. I don't remember boring days of 2019 or 18, right? Or even 16 or 14. I don't remember the boring days. What I remember are the parabolic runs and how much these crypto appreciated during those months, right? That's what I remember. And it'll be the same thing for you guys. You're not going to remember these days in the future. You're just going to remember how much money you made in 2024 and especially in 2025. All right. And then last few things. SHIB. I guess Shibarium is working better now because on-chain volume for Bone, which is the new gas token for Shibarium, is skyrocketing. And today, if you look at Bone is up double digits. So they must have fixed whatever that was going on. They had to partner with someone else to increase the transaction count of Shibarium. But hopefully it's fixed. This has to be good because volume went from 106,000 to 1.1 million, seemingly like overnight. So this is really good for SHIB. And we'll see what else it does. What else? Ethereum is still showing signs of strength as staking demand increases. I mean, this is no surprise. I really don't hear anyone talking about Ethereum anymore. People treat Ethereum as if they treat it as, I don't know, like a legacy chain or something, or legacy crypto. And, the future is everything else. But the reality is it's not. Ethereum is nowhere near its demise, I guess. It's still building. It's the biggest by far. And ETH is the main token, the main gas token among all the L2s. And all the other L1s are trying to bridge to Ethereum. So it's kind of funny that no one really talks about Ethereum, but it's not like they've gone away. But you know what? I think some whales agree because 4 whales within the past week bought nearly $100 million worth of ETH, right? So just like Bitcoin, you got big money that's buying in, okay, like 300 million within the last week. You got a lot of whales buying ETH too, 100 million, right? So don't be left out. And then lastly, I saw this. All the attorneys that was working with the SEC all decided to leave the case. I think they had enough. I guess. I don't know. It seems like all these lawyers that was representing the SEC after the latest ruling, they're like, okay, we had enough. We don't want to continue forward with this Ripple case. So they're all leaving. So the SEC has to find new lawyers to replace them with. I guess that's pretty bullish. All right. That's pretty much it. Yeah, today's overall. NASDAQ started coming down, unfortunately. Dow and S&P are up, but we'll see if NASDAQ picks up again due to NVIDIA. And overall, market today is still up almost 2%. That's pretty positive. You got some good movers. Solana is actually up almost 5% today. So they're doing good. I think their new conference, SolanaCon or whatever they call it. No, they call it something else, is coming up. Shoot, I forgot what they're... Yeah. Anyways. All right, let's do some Q&A. Music by 6. Hey, George, can I ask you to stop cracking your knuckles on live streams? Why? You should hear me crack my neck, man. People get freaked out when I crack my neck because I could really crack it. Like, really crack it. But, I mean, I like cracking knuckles. What's wrong with this? All right, so I'm scrolling up here. Let's see what I missed. Subway is my first job. Yeah, I don't know. If I had to choose, I think I would rather choose to work at McDonald's than Subway. Subway's too much work, man. You got too many lines of people during lunch that want their sandwiches, you know, made 100 different ways. I don't know. McDonald's just seems much easier. Let's see. Is it possible that the next Solana, 100x crypto, could be a L2 this bull market? Sure, of course. Sure, of course. There's a lot of L2s and new L1s that are being developed right now. And they can, yes, certainly do 100x in X bull run. It's not easy, but we see it every run. We see something new get big. Cardano, for example, and Polygon, they got big in 2017 and 2018. In 2021, we saw someone like Solana get big. There's always new things. And SHIB, we saw SHIB get huge in 2021. There's a lot of new coins that come out of nowhere, and they get big. That's just how it is with every cycle. I'm afraid I'm going to scare people with my neck cracks, so I'm not going to do it. But I will say everyone I do it in front of in real life gets really, like, sickened by it. What about a recession mixed in? Doesn't matter. Well, we're already in recession. We've been in recession for all of this year so far. Even though Chair Powell and others will say we're not, we are. We are. According to definition, when GDP decreases by 2 consecutive quarters, you're in recession. We're far past that already. Is Tesla stock going to explode when Cybertruck comes out? It certainly can. The wait list for Cybertruck is so long. I just read at full capacity, because they're building it in Giga, Texas, and it's not at full capacity yet. But even if it was running at full capacity, it would take them 5 years to fulfill everyone on the waiting list. 5 years. That's how much demand they have, right? It's insane. Have you thought of using TRT Doctor Subscribe to help with joint pain, strength, energy? TRT does not help with joint pain or strength. It'll help with strength of your muscles. You know, your testosterone goes up through the roof. That's why you have all these 50 and 60-year-olds that are like, you know, looking super buff with a six-pack and stuff like that. And you guys know who I'm talking about. There's a lot of on-air celebrities and personalities that are like super buff, right? The problem is once you go on TRT, you got to do it forever. Your body stops producing testosterone because you have so much. So I hear it's a miracle thing for older guys, but it's not going to help with knee pain. It's not going to I need like some kind of like stem cell treatment for that. So it's just, you know, Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want to be taking TRT shots for the rest of my life. You know, that's just like maybe later on, not right now. That 3 billion was not Gemini. They did it for someone. A lot of people think it's Robin Hood. I don't know, but it's someone big that bought 3 billion. Everyone wants to hear my legendary neck crack. I'll have to turn up the volume for it. How expensive is stem cells? It's not. It's just that in the US you can't get the good kind. You only get like the bad kind, which they draw it from your blood and it doesn't really work. Long-term lurker, first time comment. Well, I'm glad you're here. Yeah, I'll leave this up. How come you don't say anything about an Argentina guy running for president? Because it's Argentina. And who gives a F? Like, and he's not a president yet, right? Like, chill, chill. Anyways, what else? I got confused at the beginning. I thought Jackson Hole's speech was today. I should have, if had I known it was tomorrow, then I should have did something else with the thumbnail. But anyways, it's still important. Everyone's still wondering about Jackson Hole. So I guess according to the way the treasury yield is going, people are anticipating that it's going to be a big nothing burger, and he's going to be more dovish than hawkish. A real truck is one you could put 8-foot boards in the back and shut the tailgate. All right, just chill. Okay, not everyone can buy a truck with an 8-foot bed. Okay, that's just ridiculous. I mean, if you're in the city or in the suburbs, it's just impossible to park anywhere. Maybe you're in a farm country. In Finland, when Subway came here, they had to reduce sugar from their bread. Otherwise, it had to be categorized as pastry. Interesting. Everything, it seems like all the food in the U.S. sucks compared to other nations. I keep hearing about how, our wheat or bread sucks in the U.S. It causes a lot of inflammation. Our cheeses, cheese and dairy over processed, gives people inflammation, and our meats, they're too hormone injected. They're not good. Like, I keep hearing about this is why Americans somehow are so fat and overweight, because of all the food, not necessarily eating more, just the quality of food really sucks in the U.S. So, I keep hearing about that. Other people from other nations keep saying, when I come to America, I get bloated or I get stomach aches and all this stuff when I eat Chipotle and stuff. I'm like, maybe there's some truth to that. Maybe the food in the U.S. just sucks because everyone, is trying to produce as much food for as little price as possible. So that's why the quality suffers. And that's why everyone has all these health problems. Yeah, a little off topic there, but could be the truth. And you know, when it costs more to buy a salad than a burger, you know, that also doesn't help, right? Salads are extremely expensive. You get a salad from, I don't know, Portillo's or Bona Beef or wherever. It's like $15. You could buy, like, you know, a whole meal for less than $15. All right, guys. Unhealthy is cheap. It certainly is. Only buy meats from local butchers and deal directly with farms. I mean, that sounds good in theory, but how is someone living in the suburbs going to deal directly with farms? Does anyone really go drive an hour away from their home to deal with farms to buy produce? You know, and local butchers, they're hard to come by too. You know, that's the thing, convenience. Everyone wants convenience. No one wants to spend the extra 30 minutes to go buy food from a local butcher or from a farmland. They just want to go on DoorDash and order, right? That's it. They want to go on DoorDash and order what they want, but the, you know, the food quality just kind of sucks. Any good cloud computing coins? Hey, Flux. You can look at Flux. They're all about cloud computing. Decentralized cloud computing with AI thrown in there. US sounds so dystopian compared to Europe. I mean, when it comes to food, I think that's the case. When it comes to policies, probably not. When it comes to tech, no, for sure. But when it comes to food, I think, yeah, Europe's standard for food is just a lot better than the US. Right? I saw this one clip of this lady from Italy. And you know, very healthy middle-aged lady. And she's like, you look at all the diet craze in the US, right? It's all about cutting out carbs. It's all about eating protein, as much protein as possible, or fats, right? Atkins or keto or carnivore. It's all about cutting out carbs. Everyone's trying to cut out carbs. And she made this thing like, in Italy, all we eat are carbs, pizzas and pastas and breads nonstop. But how come everyone in Italy is so fit and no one worries about dieting? And then she made the argument about the quality of food, like the wheat that's used in breads and pastas, and also the dairy that's used in sauces and cheeses and stuff like that, and milk, right? And that makes a lot of sense. I think just the quality of food in the U.S. just sucks. Anyways, it's time to go. Rambled on a little too much. Bitcoin is still, you know, doing its thing, going sideways, up a little bit. Entire crypto market cap is up a little bit. But, you know, we're waiting for Jackson Hole. We're also seeing what BRICS nations are doing. There's more and more countries are joining. That's no good. That's no good at all. But, you know, ultimately the whales are accumulating because they don't care. Bitcoin does not care because Bitcoin will continue to move forward, and it's the best asset that we have today. All right. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.